time is an unextendable variable of your life. You cannot extend it or make it flow slower so you can do more in a specific time period. Time is really gold. But still, most of us really manage to not get everything done that we wanted in a certain time. Welcome back, guys. If you're new here, I'm Joanna, and on this channel I like to talk about eco-minimalism, productivity and happiness in life. So if you want to stick with me and know more about these things, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified when a new video comes out. So what's really the problem? Like, we hear time management all the time. Like, when you're a student at the ETH, is like the first and foremost important thing that you have to bring with you to study at this school. So why are we always confronted with that, with the thing that we don't have enough time, that we have to manage our time correctly, but we still don't manage to do that. So there are several things that I recognize that are pinpoint down that I realized are the main reasons that we don't have enough time what we want to do. This is something that I face every day. We always say that we don't have enough time, or that we want to do something but we didn't, or that we wanted to do this today but never mind, let's do it tomorrow. And we really like to blame the things that we didn't do on someone else, on the circumstances, on the weather, but it really just depends on us to a certain amount, of course. So what is the problem? I've really thought about this, and this is something that I've observed also for a longer time. And the main reason that is really common in today's world, especially, is that we are surrounded by distractions. It can be your phone, Instagram, it can be the open tab on Netflix or YouTube. Like, by the way, not my videos because they are really informative. Or it might be a really nice thing in the television, or maybe it's this really unnecessary discussion about something that really doesn't matter. There are so many things that can catch our attention when we don't need it, and sometimes we just really like to catch the distractions and really go deep into it. But there are also things that are out of our control, like things that are unexpected that happens, and really sometimes we don't really know how to act on them. But sometimes there are just really things that you cannot control, like maybe unfortunately you have to go to the hospital, or maybe someone from your family needs help, or something breaks in your house. There are so many things that we cannot control. Still, the most of the time we control what we do. The other things that are really a problematic thing when it comes to managing our time is that we are not concentrating enough, that our concentration is way too low to really get something done. So we spend more time on it that we should or that we could, and then we don't have time for another thing. Or maybe just procrastination, because we just don't really get to this task because something just isn't right and you just don't want to do that, like, so badly. It doesn't matter what you do, how often you sit on this task, you just cannot do that. Don't tell me you don't know that, because everyone knows that feeling. Just pushing away things that you know you should do right now, but you just don't because I don't know why. You just don't feel like it, or you just feel, yeah, I have enough time to do that, or today is not a good day to do that. But tomorrow, maybe the day will be even worse. And what then? And also, everything that we do, we have to put a little margin on it, because most of the time it just doesn't work as shortly as we wanted to do. Like, when I filmed this video, like, I wanted to, I don't know, last maybe half an hour. I want it to be done in half an hour, but probably it will not. So what happens when I really put a time slot in my day to do it in a half an hour, but it will take 1 hour and 1:30? What will happen? I will not have time enough to do the other things that I planned. So this is really bad time management. But we don't want to have a bad time management, right? We want to have a good time management. And that's why it's also so key. And there are so many things that with a good time management can be really, really great. And the first thing that is really, really important is that you can get done more in a shorter time. I will get back later to the reason of that. When you have good time management, you are also less stressed. Your anxiety may be not so high as if you don't have a management at all. There's also lower chance of procrastination. This is something that maybe not work for everyone, but having pressure, like time pressure on what you have to do. Most people really do well under pressure, but of course, this is not something for everyone. But for me, definitely, time pressure is a really big win for me most of the time. And the fourth reason why management is so important and key is that you don't get burned out. So how to really do that, to have a really good time management? So now let's get to the things that you can do to have a better time management. First of all, I'm just gonna a small disclaimer that maybe not all people, like what I want to go into right now is most of the people that are really working well under pressure, and of course not everyone is doing well then, but I think this is like a common thing and most of the people do that. So yeah, let's get into it. Pressure is most of the time really a good thing to have when you're working on something, because then you really know that you have to do something, and then the procrastination factor is much less, because you cannot say, yeah, I still have like 1 week to do that, because you don't, because maybe you have only 1 day left. The first thing that is really beneficial for you if you wanna produce like a time management planning system or something like this for you is to create block time in your schedule. This is something that I've learned through several books like Atomic Habits or 10 Steps to Earning Awesome Grades by Thomas Frank. And these are really things that I've been doing for quite a long time, and this is something that works very well. These are the times that you are going to work, but also you need the time when you're taking a break. Because you're not able to concentrate for longer periods of time than between 4 to 6 hours, according to several psychologists and books, for example, as K. Anders Ericsson or James Clear or others. So there's not possible to be concentrated and do really deliberate practice, which is a practice that is really concentrated on getting better at something and improving, and not just doing something as a habit, because in that way you are not going to learn, because it's not really putting in the effort to improve what you know and improve your work. So the first thing you really want to do is to define when in a day are the most productive hours of your day. Some people that are really productive in the mornings, some people that are really productive, or maybe you are just creative in the night. So you have to really figure it out maybe for 1 week and just get to know yourself and know when the time for doing a really deliberate practice is really the most effective for you. And then in this time, when you are defined when you want to work, it can also have like minor differences. For example, for me, I know that I can really be concentrated in the morning when I'm doing like so-called like tedious work that I really have to concentrate, and maybe I don't really like doing that. These are the things that I really like to do in the morning. It doesn't really matter if I'm doing videos for YouTube or if I'm studying. This is the best time for me to do that. But for example, in the afternoon, there is not really like capacity for me to do something, so I either don't do anything, or I do things that don't really require like much brain power. I can do somewhere like in between. And also in the evening or like more in the night, this is mostly the time when I'm like on the verge of being very tired, but I'm also very creative then. So you really have to figure out when are the times for you, and just really figure out when you want to do what kind of work or what kind of studying or whatever. So right now, when you know when the best times for you to work are, is the other thing is to know when the times that you want to take breaks, and the other time when you have like really weird times in your day that you can just figure out how to get the best out of it. And for me, this is, for example, when I have to commute, or when I'm so tired after my lunch that I'm not productive and I'm not doing anything. So even if it's a break, you can also use it in a really good way. And this time, this really weird in-between times, maybe you can either just wind down or just relax in some kind of way, because you still need breaks in the day. Or you can do really strange things that have to be done, but they just don't require so much brain power, and they just don't need so much time. Another really important thing that I do when I'm scheduling my day or my week is that I really think about that I really am not going to achieve what I want in the time that I want to. So there's also a separate equation about this. If you want to check this out, I think this is in the book by Thomas Frank. Generally, it's about something will always take longer than you think. And that's why I always try to don't put everything like very close to each other so that I will not be able to get around everything because maybe I will watch the lecture for 1.5 hours instead of 1, and then I'm just stressed out because I don't have the buffer. So this is really important to avoid the stress. Another thing that I think is like the best well-known tip that I ever know is to cut out any distractions. And I said before in the beginning, there are so many distractions nowadays, like even more than maybe before, that we just are constantly somewhere with our thoughts and we cannot concentrate on what we want to do. Cutting out these distractions, maybe the phone, or maybe if there's like other people around, maybe just like putting on some headphones, putting out the Wi-Fi on your phone, and there are just like things can help you to concentrate on the moment that you want to work on, and just like maybe putting like the kind of timers that your tree will die when you're going out or something like this. This can really help you to stay put in this task that you have before you and not get everywhere like pieces of something, because in that way you will not get anywhere, and I know that all too well. And this is also to do with the place where you are working, and also for studying. This is something that there are people that can really concentrate better at home, or there are people that are really better off in a cafe or maybe at the library. So you really have to figure out where is the best environment for you to work on, because when you have distractions, maybe for others it may be the other people that are distracting. For the others is that the fact that you are alone and nobody is watching you is maybe the other thing that is distracting. So there are really different kinds of distractions that can be influential for you, and figuring out where is the best place for you to be concentrated and be productive is a very important point here. Another really nice tip that I think I've been doing like unconsciously, but this is commonly attributed to Peter Drucker, is the SMART guide. And this is how you really manage your task by putting them into smaller subtasks. So it makes it easier for your brain and for yourself to keep track of what you're doing. So the concept is really about defining your tasks in a way that they are really reachable for you, and not just writing down, for example, filming a new video, because this is not something that you will be able to, like thinking about all the steps that you have to do. And also there's like a less psychological effect of crossing everything out, because there's only one thing that maybe takes up several hours, but you could really subdivide it into smaller tasks that can be done in a much shorter time. And they're just like, I know this is like something that it's really common, that you're just really doing all the small tasks, and then you are really motivated to go further because you have already done 3 or 5 out of 10, and then it is really much more motivating than just having everything in your mind and not putting it down on paper. So the concept is all about putting these subtasks into this graspable thing, following 5 letters of SMART, and the task should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, relevant, and time bound. So these are the things that sometimes people also put other meanings to that SMART concept, but I think this is really a nice thing. Like for me, it works very well, and I think I've done it quite unconsciously, but I think this is really a good measure how you should put your task, so it makes it easier for you to follow them and to really do them. So many of the things that I've just told, there are things that I've been doing for some time, and I've been also researching, and I've been practicing as well. So if you want to know how I manage my time, I've done a video lately about this, how my planning system works. So you can watch it here. I will link it up here. But the last very important thing that I wanted to say here is that breaks are not equal breaks. What I mean by that is you can really do breaks that can bring you further in your productiveness, but you can also do breaks that are just going to damage your productiveness. And most of the time, I think the one kind of break that is really productive or really great for you is, for example, drinking water or doing some exercises, or maybe reading a book or going outside. I think these are really things that are really important break, but there's not such a difficulty to get out of this break and start doing something again. On the other hand, when you are working on your computer the whole day and in your break you're scrolling through Instagram or you're watching Netflix, this is not really how your brain can make a break. So what I mean by bad breaks in that sense is that when you're trying to study, for example, and in the break you are going to start watching Netflix, a series, probably you will not have the motivation to start studying again. So this is not maybe the best break you can do. So I think there's a really big difference, as there's so much that you can extract from the breaks that you make. Yeah, and just being mindful about what kind of breaks am I doing, and are they bringing something to my well-being, are they helping me to boost my productivity or my concentration, and not the opposite. I actually forgot to film the outro, so here it is. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful to you and you found some value in it. So yeah, if you want to see more, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button to get notified when a new video comes out. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps, and I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.
Keep struggling, bitch, I'm humbling.